What's so ironic is that I've been so good about uploading on this channel throughout the entire cryptocurrency bear market. However, the second that things starts getting hyped again and cryptocurrencies start making new all-time highs, I'm nowhere to be found, and I want to change that today. I want to consistently upload on this channel moving forward, and that's not only to bring you all unique perspectives and informative content that you won't be able to find anywhere else, but also for myself, because this channel forces me to learn new stuff about cryptocurrency every single day, and it forces me to be on the cutting edge of innovation, and that is something that I would not give up for anything. I absolutely love this channel, and I cannot wait to get back to it. And the first video that I wanted to make is something that's extremely on trend right now, and that topic is Dogecoin, and that's because I think I have a very unique perspective that a lot of channels are not necessarily, in my opinion, getting right, and I want to correct it moving forward. So I think people invested in Dogecoin are going to like this video, which is a little bit different because I tend to make videos on why I dislike cryptocurrencies, but also I think that people who are not invested in Dogecoin, such as myself, I haven't been invested in Dogecoin. In fact, throughout any time in my entire life, I've never bought any Dogecoin. However, even for people who don't hold Dogecoin, I think this video will still be interesting because Dogecoin is not something that you want to turn a blind eye to. You do not want to just think that this Dogecoin thing is some pump and dump that has no significance in the cryptocurrency space whatsoever. If you're an investor, or if you're a developer, or if you're interested in the technicals or fundamentals, whatever it may be, I think that Dogecoin is extremely important, and I hope to change your mind on Dogecoin by the end of this video. So the first topic I wanted to start attacking head on is that Dogecoin is not a legitimate investment. So I see all these people on Twitter, on YouTube, talking about Dogecoin as if it's some shitty pump and dump project, and then they go ahead and turn around and they say, instead of Dogecoin, I'm going to invest in Cardano. Instead of Dogecoin, I'm going to invest in Ethereum, etc. And they say that, all these Dogecoin investors are stupid, but I'm smart because I'm investing in a project that has legitimate quote unquote fundamentals, and everyone who's investing in Dogecoin has no idea what they're doing. I think that this is one of the dumbest arguments in the cryptocurrency space, because no one's going to argue that Dogecoin is not going to be the Google of cryptocurrency. It's not going to be the Web 3.0. But that being said, number one, I would almost guarantee that virtually every cryptocurrency in space right now is not going to be Web 3.0. But also, the move in the cryptocurrency markets right now is not at all based on fundamentals. Yes, there have been improvements in the cryptocurrency space in terms of fundamentals and in terms of what these projects are doing, and tons of innovation every single day. But does that mean that the valuation of Ethereum should have, gone from 200 to 1600? Not necessarily. A lot of it is just hype. It's just people coming into the market, especially altcoins. If you look at coins like Cardano, a majority of the price movement there is really just all manipulation, which is equal to Dogecoin, if not worse. So all these people who think that they're smarter than you for investing in a different cryptocurrency other than Dogecoin, I say shame on them, because I think Dogecoin is just as legitimate of an investment as many of those other cryptocurrencies. But now that I've addressed that, people might say, well, what is the purpose of Dogecoin? Why is Dogecoin important? What's its actual use case? And the most common answer to this question is that the use case of Dogecoin is an entry point into cryptocurrency. But one important point I wanted to make on this topic is not only is Dogecoin an entry point into cryptocurrency, but the people using Dogecoin as an entry point into cryptocurrency right now, they're also seeing firsthand one of the advantages of cryptocurrency, which is the difference between traditional finance and finance of the future. Right? Because all these users from Wall Street Bets, they just came from a battle with these institutions, these financial institutions, who have basically censored them from trading an asset that they viewed was in the free market. They found this company, GameStop, they did the short squeeze, and that's because whatever people thought it's a company that's going to recover. Of course, there was some hype and manipulation behind it, but a lot of people felt, this is a free market, we should be able to put our money where we want to put our money. And then when you see companies like Robinhood and other brokerages blocking that access and not allowing you to manage your positions or to purchase the company that you want to purchase, then a lot of people became upset. And now when they're moving to Dogecoin, not only are they saying, okay, this is a way that I'm going to learn about cryptocurrency, but they're also seeing directly the difference between centralized institutions and decentralized institutions. There is nothing really that can stop the pump of Dogecoin. Yes, there's stuff that can stop the trading and investment in GameStop, but Dogecoin, as long as banks literally don't shut down people's bank accounts and block exchanges in the US, etc., that'd be absolutely insane. As long as it doesn't happen, there's always a way for people to go buy Dogecoin, whether it be on Binance or Coinbase or whatever platform they may choose. Even if Robinhood blocks it, people can still go ahead and transfer their money elsewhere and trade it, unlike GameStop, where a lot of the time most retail investors really just had no access to it. So people are coming into the cryptocurrency space, not only learning about cryptocurrency, but also seeing firsthand the advantages of the financial system of the future. Second, I wanted to talk about an actual trading strategy for Dogecoin. So now that I've established that trading Dogecoin is just as legitimate as trading any other cryptocurrency, you might be wondering, well, what are some strategies that I can utilize personally to try to gauge where the growth of Dogecoin is going? As I mentioned before, I don't personally hold any Dogecoin, so I don't think I'm necessarily biased in any way. So the main strategy or thing that I would look at is on this website called subredditstats.com, and I would look at the subreddit Wall Street Bets, of course, and just monitor the growth of Wall Street Bets and the amount of discussion on Wall Street Bets. And if you have any development background, you can even use the Reddit API or other websites. I think it's called Push Shift. You can grab the API. You can start to monitor the amount of discussion around Dogecoin, etc. But more importantly, I did want to point out that if you look at the growth of Wall Street Bets, it is relatively saturated so far. That's not necessarily a bearish signal for Dogecoin, but I did still want to point this out. We had the initial hype cycle for Wall Street Bets going from around 2 million members all the way up to, I think now it's like at 8.5 or 8.7 million people. But that started to slow down. So you can see here the comments per day on Wall Street Bets. You had this ginormous spike up to around 300,000. And now it's starting to move back down to around 168,000, 150,000 per day. So it's definitely much, much higher than it was before. As you can see here, before it was around 30,000 per day. So it's still significantly higher in terms of the amount of discussion per day on Wall Street Bets. And of course, this is not an end-all be-all that Dogecoin is going to start going down, because as we've seen, Dogecoin is already going into sort of a second hype cycle, a second pump. But I would be very cautious in monitoring the Reddit numbers to make sure that there's still hype on the subreddit before deciding to invest in any short-term position in Dogecoin. And of course, any cryptocurrency is high risk, so you don't necessarily want to put a huge amount of money into Dogecoin expecting it to go up to, $1 or something. Third, I wanted to talk about Dogecoin as a potential indicator for Bitcoin growth. So as I mentioned earlier, Dogecoin is a way for people to learn about cryptocurrency, but most of the time, once Dogecoin goes down from its initial pump and dump, it tends to be a precursor to cryptocurrency, to large Bitcoin moves, etc. So if we look here back in 2017, people might not remember this if you're just getting into cryptocurrency, or even if you got into cryptocurrency in 2017 like myself. Bitcoin in May of 2017, Dogecoin went up around 600%, which you can see this pump here. And this was when Bitcoin was at around, I believe, $1,000 to $2,000. And then you had the subsequent move all the way up to $20,000. So you can see here that Dogecoin was an early indicator to a much larger move and larger and more legitimate cryptocurrencies from a standpoint of fundamentals and technology. Now, I'm not saying that one is a more legitimate investment than the other, but it is a precursor and indicator for large growth in the rest of the space as well. So this is something that's, I think, is extremely important to be aware of. And you might say, well, there's another pump over here where Bitcoin topped, but you can see that the most significant pump up until that point was a precursor to a much larger move. And you can see now that this pump in Dogecoin is one of the largest pumps in Dogecoin that we've ever seen. So you could extrapolate that, okay, since this has happened in the past, the largest pump in Dogecoin is a precursor for much larger growth in the rest of cryptocurrency, then that is going to happen again. But once again, just because it happened in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen in the future. But this also did happen, and I believe the earlier pumps as well. So you can see here all the way back in 2014. I don't think this chart goes farther than that. But I wanted to point that out. It's extremely important to see that once Dogecoin starts to move down, then all of these investors from Robinhood, from other platforms, they're going to start to ask, how can I invest in this stuff long term? Now that I know what cryptocurrency is, now that I see the benefits, how can I get a piece of this? And they're then going to move over to these other platforms such as Coinbase. Because that's the other important thing you need to understand, is that right now a lot of investors are still on Robinhood and are still on a lot of these centralized platforms, even trading GBTC if you're on a traditional broker, where you can trade equities. And so once these people have the crash of Dogecoin, then they're going to be looking for ways that they can legitimately get into the space, and that's going to be through platforms like Coinbase and Binance. And you can see that so far Coinbase, it hasn't even surpassed the amount of people searching for it that it was getting in 2017, even though the price of Bitcoin is higher than what it was at in 2017. So this shows that still a majority of people who have bought into the cryptocurrency hype so far are still on those legacy platforms, those legacy financial platforms. And I believe that once we see this crash of Dogecoin, which I believe is inevitable, then we are going to see an exodus from that platform, moving back to traditional cryptocurrency platforms like Coinbase and Binance, which will then allow for a much larger growth in the rest of the space, in other altcoins, in the top 10 coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, etc. And that's a period that I'm very excited for, especially to see Bitcoin hopefully making new highs. And of course, I've always said this, but I think Bitcoin is certainly going to get above $100,000. I don't think that's out of the question. People, of course, it sounds crazy, but you have to remember that everything in this space is crazy. Dogecoin is almost hitting 10 cents now, so why can't Bitcoin hit $100,000? But anyways, I hope you enjoyed my first video back. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and see you in the next one.